The time is February of 2012. The NBA is buzzing with names like Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, and Jeremy Lin? What if I told you that this undrafted point guard from Harvard was putting up Hall of Fame numbers? The point guard from the Knicks that completely took the league by storm. This is the story of Linsanity.
4. Lin for the win! Got it!
When you say the name Jeremy Lin, most people would think of a typical NBA point guard that had a pretty decent career. A guard who averaged 11 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists, who's been in and out of starting lineups for a handful of NBA teams for 9 years. He even has an NBA championship under his belt in 2019. Not a bad career. But what really separates Lin from your average NBA point guard is the insane stretch of basketball this backup point guard had for the Knicks. The date was 2011. Jeremy Lin had just finished up his rookie season for the Golden State Warriors. In 2011, Lin averaged 2.6 points, 1.2 rebounds, 1.4 assists on 39% shooting while playing 25 games. So it's safe to say that Lin wasn't the most standout rookie. On December 27th, 2011, Jeremy Lin signed as a free agent for the Knicks for a whopping $762,000 on a league minimum deal. Not only was this guy making WNBA money, but his contract wasn't even guaranteed. Jeremy Lin signed a non-guaranteed contract with the Knicks, which allowed the Knicks to evaluate his performance without having to commit anything towards him. So in other words, Jeremy Lin was getting but Jeremy Lin would quickly prove that he's worth more than this non-guaranteed 6-figure deal. So to start the 2011 and 12 season, the Knicks were buns. While the Knicks had big expectations with superstars Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire leading the way, the Knicks drastically underperformed, slipping down to a dangerous record of 8-15. And who else better fit to bring back the dignity of the New York Knicks than the second-year undrafted point guard? February 4th, 2012 marks the start of a dynasty, an 11-game dynasty, but a dynasty nonetheless. It was a home game against their neighbor rivals, the New Jersey Nets, and Jeremy Lin, who had just played a combined 55 minutes the whole season before this game, exploded here, scoring 25 points, grabbing 5 rebounds, dishing out 7 assists, and grabbing 2 steals, and shooting a respectable 10 of 19 from the field. The Knicks won this game 99-92. Good performance, Mr. Lin, but little did anyone know that this was just the beginning.
I don't know, this night, it just hasn't really sunk in yet, to be honest. It's like I'm still kind of in shock about everything that happened, but, I'm just trying to soak it all in right now.
Jeremy Lin followed up this irregular performance with 2 back-to-back great games. First beating the Jazz in an 11-point home win, scoring 28 points and dishing out 8 assists. Then beating the Wizards by 14 points on the road with a stat line of 23 points, 10 assists, and 9 of 14 shooting from the field. Wise words from the insightful Redditor Existing Landscape. It was wild. If going viral was real life, Linsanity was the personification of that. He went from sleeping on his brother's couch to selling out games in the span of 2 weeks. I was at one of the games in DC and thought, there's no way he can go head-to-head with John Wall. The arena was packed full of Asians that night. He went on to score 23 and 10 assists and outplayed the hyper-athletic Wall. Each bucket, the arena went wild. As a Wiz fan, the night felt like an away game because everyone was there to see Lin. Things were starting to get really serious for Jeremy Lin, but he was about to face his biggest challenge in his NBA career. At this point, Linsanity was a nice little story. It was cute. A relatively unknown point guard who came out of nowhere to lead one of the most famous NBA teams to a few wins. Not bad, kid. But the Knicks were playing against Kobe Bryant and the Los Angeles Lakers, one of the best teams in the West. Surely the Black Mamba would put an end to this Mickey Mouse dream. It was the exact opposite though. Jeremy Lin completely torched the Lakers, doing whatever he wanted to on the floor. Lin finished this game with a whopping 38 points, 7 assists, 2 steals on 13 of 23 from the field. Linsanity was official now. Even the Mamba himself couldn't stop the madness of Linsanity.
Sometimes you want him to do a little bit more offensively. Lin with a sweet move in the lane. And utilize screen and roll situations. Lin jumper, good. Clock at 5-4. Lin, 3, good. Their feet. 5-4. Lin for the win.
If things couldn't get better for Lin, Jeremy Lin was still awaiting the greatest moment of his career. After the Lakers game, the Knicks extended their win streak to 5 games with a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves where Lin had 20 points, 8 assists, 6 boards, and 3 steals. But it was the game after where Lin cemented himself in New York Knicks history. The game after, the Knicks were facing off against the Toronto Raptors in Toronto, and things were looking bad for Jeremy Lin and the Knicks, trailing this game for about the first 90% of the game. But Jeremy Lin wasn't having any of this, because he led the Knicks to a comeback against Toronto. Jeremy Lin had 12 points in the fourth quarter and had the greatest highlight of his career, hitting a game-winning 3 in the clutch. Lin finished this game with 27 points and 11 assists. If there were any doubts about Linsanity, they were quickly removed after this shot. Linsanity was an absolutely beautiful thing to see unravel in basketball. Linsanity unofficially wrapped up a few more games after the Toronto game winner, where he had several other standout performances, like his 28-point and 14-assist game against the Mavericks, or his 26.5-assist game against the Hornets. Linsanity wasn't only just a good stretch of basketball from an unknown role player, but it was a cultural phenomenon, inspiring millions of Asian Americans to play basketball and wear his jersey. Jeremy Lin in this 11-game stretch had a stat line of 23.9 points, 9.2 assists, 3.9 rebounds, and 2.4 steals, while shooting 50% from the field and 36% from 3. When we look at other players throughout NBA history that have averaged these numbers for a season, the list is pretty exclusive. Only a select handful of NBA players can score and assist the ball at an elite level at the exact same time. Oscar Robertson had a minimum of this stat line, 24 points, 9 assists, and 4 rebounds for the first 9 years of his career. Magic Johnson accomplished this feat during one of his MVP campaigns in 1987, averaging 23.9 points, 12.2 assists, and 6.3 boards. James Harden has done this twice, in 2017 with the Rockets and 2021 with the Nets. Russell Westbrook did this in 2017 and 2018 with the Thunder. Trae Young is actually on here twice, in 2020 and 2021. Luka Doncic just accomplished this last year with his 33.9 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 9.2 assists. Nikola Jokic has done this twice, this year and last year, with a stat line of this. And finally, LeBron James did this in 2020 with the Lakers, their title year, with a stat line of 25.3 points, 10 assists, and 7.8 boards. So in total, 8 players in a total of 20 individual seasons, where players have accomplished a Linsanity stat line or better. But what about players who have averaged a Linsanity stat line for their whole career? Well, that would be limited to one man, Oscar Robertson, with a career stat line of 25.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 9.5 assists. Well, of course there are superstars that can put up these type of numbers, but let me ask you, have you ever seen a role player completely come out of nowhere and put up great numbers like Jeremy Lin did, completely shocking the basketball world? While these feats didn't nearly get the coverage Linsanity did, we've seen similar instances, like a 29-year-old rookie, Chris Copeland for the Knicks. Hold up, who? Yes, Chris Copeland. A guy who averaged 5.8 points, 1.6 rebounds, and 0.6 assists through his career, had a brief 7-game stretch in March and in April of 2013 where he averaged 20.1 points, 4.4 rebounds on 49% from the field. Not bad, Mr. Copeland, but we've seen better. What about my guy Flip Murray, the backup shooting guard for the Seattle Supersonics in 2004? During the beginning of the 03 and 04 season, Ronald Flip Murray was asked to start at the shooting guard due to their starter Ray Allen being injured. And what did Flip do? He absolutely manhandled the league for about 11 games, averaging 23.9 points, 4.4 rebounds, 4.3 assists, 1.5 steals, while shooting 50% from the field and 39% from 3. Or what about Troy Hudson from the Timberwolves in 2003? During the early 2000s, it's pretty safe to say that Kevin Garnett was absolutely carrying this team. So who else better to help out KG than 6'1" point guard Troy Hudson, who averaged 9 points, 3.4 assists, and 1.7 boards over his career? While the Timberwolves lost to the Lakers in the first round in 2003, Hudson was going nuclear, averaging 23.5 points, 5.5 assists, 1.3 steals, and shooting 43.6% from 3, while shooting 6.5 threes a game. But the one random role player that suddenly became a superstar in the league overnight that probably trumps the rest of these guys, including Jeremy Lin, was a 6'2" point guard named Mike James, who averaged around 10, 2, and 3 a game for his career. During the 05 and 06 season, Mike James had the strangest season ever, averaging 23 and 5 while shooting 47% from the field and 44% from 3. This was Mike James's best season in pretty much every stat. Besides this season, his next closest season to his 20 points a game season in 2006 was his previous year of 2005, where he averaged 11.8 points. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tale of Linsanity. If there's any other role players that magically had superstar stretches that I forgot about, let me know in the comments down below.